There was once a young man named Ravi who lived in a small town surrounded by hills and rivers. From the outside, Ravi's life looked easy. He had a job, a home, and friends. But inside, he carried a storm. Every day, he smiled in front of others. But at night, he lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering why he felt so empty. He had been through a lot. His father had passed away when he was a boy. His mother, though loving, struggled to raise him alone. They never had much money, and Ravi had learned early to hide his pain. He studied hard, worked harder, and eventually moved to the city to chase a better life. But even as his world changed on the outside, something inside him stayed broken. One evening, after a long day at work, Ravi sat alone on a park bench. The sky was orange with sunset, but he didn't notice. His mind was full of noise thoughts, regrets, fears. A man walked by and stopped near him. He was old, with white hair and tired eyes, but his face held a strange calm. The man looked at Ravi and said, "You look like someone who's fighting a battle no one can see." Ravi was surprised. He didn't respond at first, but the man sat beside him and said, "I don't need to know your story. I've lived long enough to recognize pain when I see it." Ravi looked at him and asked, "Does it ever go away? This emptiness, this heaviness. I try so hard, but I still feel lost." The old man nodded slowly and said, "Let me tell you a story. One you won't forget." Ravi turned his head, curious but silent. "Years ago," the man began, "there was a boy who lived in a village by the mountains. He was strong, full of dreams, and wanted to become a great warrior. But one day, his village was attacked. He tried to fight, but he was too young. He watched as everything he loved was destroyed. His home, his family, his peace all gone in a single night." Ravi's eyes didn't move. The old man continued. "The boy ran into the forest. He was scared, alone, and broken. Days turned into weeks. He built a small shelter with his hands and lived off fruits and water from the river. Every night, he cried. He asked the sky, 'Why me? What did I do wrong?' But no answer came. One morning, he met an old hermit who lived deep in the forest. The hermit saw the pain in his eyes and said, 'I will teach you how to fight not with swords, but with your mind.' The boy was angry. 'I don't want wisdom, I want revenge,' he said. But the hermit smiled and said, 'If you cannot conquer your pain, you will lose every battle, even if you win.' Ravi felt something shift in his chest. The boy stayed. He learned to meditate, to control his breath, to sit with his pain instead of running from it. It was not easy. Sometimes he screamed. Sometimes he wanted to give up. But slowly, he changed. His body grew strong. But more importantly, so did his heart. Years later, when he returned to the world, he was no longer just a warrior. He was a guide. He helped others heal. He rebuilt what was lost. And he finally found peace, not because his pain disappeared, but because he had learned to live with it. The old man looked at Ravi. You see, pain always comes first. It breaks us open. It shows us what we're made of. But if you face it, if you don't run, peace will come. Not suddenly, not all at once, but it will. Ravi sat in silence, the wind brushing past his face. He didn't know who the man was or why he had stopped, but for the first time in a long time, he felt understood. The man stood up and said, "Don't be afraid of what hurts. Be afraid of never feeling anything at all. Pain is a door. On the other side is peace." And just like that, he walked away. That night, Ravi didn't lie awake in panic. He thought about the boy in the story. He thought about the forest, the pain, the silence, and the growth. And he realized something: he didn't have to fix everything at once. He just had to stop running. The next morning, Ravi got up early. He sat by the window and let the light fall on his face. He breathed slowly, not to escape his pain, but to sit with it. He remembered his father. He missed him, but now, instead of breaking him, that memory gave him strength. He remembered his struggles not with bitterness, but with quiet pride. He had survived so much, and he was still here. In the weeks that followed, Ravi began doing small things differently. He walked more. He talked openly with his friends. He forgave people who had hurt him. He forgave himself. He stopped pretending everything was fine, and in that honesty, he found relief. He didn't become a different person overnight. The storm inside him still came and went, but it no longer scared him. He had learned what the old man had said: pain comes first, but peace is not far behind. If you walk through the fire, you don't come out the same, but you do come out stronger. Years later, Ravi became known in his town for helping others. People came to him not just for advice, but for presence. He had that quiet strength, that calm in his voice, that deep understanding that comes only from having lived through the dark and choosing the light anyway. And when someone asked him how he found peace, he would smile and say, "I stopped hiding from my pain. I listened to it. I learned from it. And that's when I found the peace I was searching for all along." Because peace is not the absence of pain. It is what grows when you let pain teach you instead of destroy you. And sometimes, the story you'll never forget is the one that reminds you you were never broken. You were becoming.